Hey, what's up, everyone? This is your boy Jay, and I am back with another video for you guys today. And today I just want to do a reaction video when it comes to the video that you see on the bottom screen. So when it comes to the topic of, wokeism and the woke community also, just when it comes to this topic as well, I just really want to just share, do a reaction, share this video and to really do a reaction video of this topic too because I've been really meditating and just really, gathering how I can really just react to this video and also share my own thoughts about what Teal Swan is sharing in this video as well. And I know Teal Swan is a very controversial kind of figure, but very kind of popular at the same time. So I have nothing against her, to what she's sharing in this video and what she's representing to and talking about. But I just really want to share my own thoughts also when it comes to this video, especially for those who want to check out the original video below too. I'm going to link Teal Swan's video in the description of this reaction video so you guys can really check it out for yourself, especially when it comes to just with the topic of the woke community and wokeism, whatever you want to call it too. And just feel free to comment to what I've had to say too, and especially what Teal Swan has to say too. Especially if you disagree with what she's talking about, or you agree with it too, or if you're in the middle as well. Just feel free to share your thoughts, and your feelings and your thoughts below too in the comment section. Because I believe that we can really have disagreements and agree on stuff without having to tear each other down too. So without further ado, I'm going to get into this video as well. And big shout out to Teal Swan. So if you guys ever want to check out the video below too, the original video, it'll be in the description below. If you guys want to check out Teal Swan's original video about wokeism and the woke culture. So, ooh, that was a mouthful, but here we go. Let's see if I could do this here. Okay, cool. So let me see if I can get it in a big screen. Let's play this.
Hey there. I do this episode today with a heavy heart, knowing that I'm stepping out on a limb by doing it because anybody who shares a viewpoint that contradicts the current in-style social narrative is immediately branded a villain. These are strange times indeed within human society. The current trend within society is wokeness. And this should make a spiritual figure like myself very, very happy. After all, awakening is a virtue. Society is served by people being aware and well-informed. It's served by people being actively attentive to and also responsive to important societal issues. But alas, I am not happy. Because the woke movement is not what people think it is. It is not wokeness at all. Instead, it is a human society that has fallen into yet another pothole of both ego and of unconsciousness. What used to be
Might have to edit
a
that
social
out.
movement that was fueled by empathy and compassion and the desire to make a positive change, and what once was a social movement that successfully exposed the dark reality of injustice and backward thinking that was latent within our society, has devolved. It has devolved into a radical political and social ideology that, quite frankly, is flirting with authoritarianism. And
I just want to stop there for a minute. Just what she is talking about there too. I just kind of agree with her to her point on there, just because and sorry if you with this video pausing like that too, but I just want to highlight to what she was talking about, just because that with when it comes to just like with us being awakened and being woke too, and I honestly, and just really, for those who are watching this video, I just really, when it comes to woke, I know that it really means to awaken, but it's kind of like, I heard it in different communities, in the spiritual and the wellness communities too, and sometimes I get confused about the terms too, because I'm not sure if it's kind of like, when it comes to someone being woke, is they're just being enlightened, or if they're just, awakening too. So if you guys have anything to share on that too, feel free to comment because what she's sharing, I kind of understand where she's coming from because sometimes like I've been in the spiritual community and the wellness communities for quite some time. And I met some people, and this is no shade against anyone too. Like I share my thoughts and feelings about certain things too. But I just, when it comes to certain people trying to, shut your voice down, I mean, it's kind of like a very authoritarian, and it's kind of messed up because I believe that people could just share their thoughts and just let people speak their truth and the other person speak their truth and come to a middle ground per se. So when it comes to that, I just really believe in like the middle ground. People could believe in one thing, some other person have a different opinion, and we can all meet in the middle. Just we can agree to it, not having to tear the other person down and so on and so forth. So I just want to highlight to what she was saying too. And if I'm wrong, feel free to comment too. So
It is wearing a mask of virtue.
yeah.
Make no mistake, the current wokeness trend is not genuine awakening. It does not reflect genuine awareness or even intelligence, and it is often marked by false concern. If a society was genuinely woke, that would be a good thing. But the general direction of change that you're seeing within society today is actually a false wokeness. It's a gaslight. It is something disguised as the opposite of what it is. It is unconsciousness, disguised as consciousness. It is virtue signaling, disguised as concern for others. It is immorality, disguised as morality. It is prejudice, disguised as social justice. It is an assault against health, disguised as measures that are pro-health. It is racism, disguised as anti-racism. It is primitive ego, disguised as evolved states of being. It is further damage to traumatize groups of people, disguised as help. It is a backward step, disguised as forward movement. Don't forget that gaslighting is a form of mental abuse. And this is especially sad because today's performatively woke society is a society in which we are gaslighting ourselves and each other on a mass scale. This is one reason why, being part of society today, you might have this persistent feeling that something isn't right. You might feel a lingering sense of anxiety and maybe even hopelessness. You might feel totally out of alignment with other people, inexplicably frustrated and confused, maybe even like you're going completely crazy, like something is seriously wrong with you. Or you may be noticing yourself leaning towards political views that you, quite frankly, never thought you would align with before. By the way, if you want to know more about gaslighting specifically, you can watch my video titled Gaslighting. What is gaslighting and how to heal from it?
I just want to pause there too for just a few moments there too. And it's just like what she's sharing too about, just like, being gaslit to believe in something that you never thought you would believe in. I've been in that kind of situation before too with certain people, just like before I started, making YouTube videos and all that. And it's just like, then you realize and you just sit there and meditate and reflect on things that you've learned from both good and bad. And it's just like, wow, like, holy shit, I can't believe I did that. I kind of, fall for it too. But it's kind of like when you realize that too, it's kind of like having that enlightened, like, aha moment per se too. So when it comes to using that term per se too, and, some people call me woke too, but it's kind of like, and I get it. I mean, I appreciate the compliments too, but it's just like I'm just someone who likes to continuously to learn and to evolve in my own way too, and just really practice healthy habits in my relationships towards other people who have different viewpoints than I am, especially for those who are just on a different path than I am too. So when it comes to that also, and it sucks being gaslit, just like, someone trying to mess with your mind, making you think like you're not seeing what you're seeing, not feeling what you're feeling. It's totally, totally fucking wrong. I'm totally against gaslighting too. And I'm not trying to shame anyone who does that. I'm just saying as who does that too is kind of, it's messed up. So And I'm probably realizing that too. It's just like, oh well, I'm not sure if I gaslit someone before too. And if anyone who's knows me in the past too, if I did that to you guys too, feel free to let me know, make me be accountable for my actions, because I'm on a path of just personal growth and spiritual growth too. And it's just like, if I did some stuff that was wrong, just let me know too, because it's like, like I always do my best to do the right thing when it comes to just with how I treat other people, and just treating people with kindness and respect. Listen to their boundaries, and just really understanding them from a human perspective too, whether they're a man, if they're a woman, if they're straight, if they're gay, transgender, how they identify themselves too. So when it comes to that as well, and just really saying this too, just really coming from an honest place, especially as a black man too. Oh, I say not a black man, oh, black man per se, but American man with African and Native ancestry too. So when it comes to that as well, I just really want to just really be upfront and straight up with you guys too. It's just like I've learned. I had like my incidences of doing bad behavior, but I tend to just want to make up for it. I'll just be accountable for my actions and just really be upfront about it too. So, especially for those who know me on YouTube, on social media, and in person as well, if I did anything wrong, if I did some crazy shit, just really call me out on it too, because I like to make myself accountable too, and just really learn from my mistakes and to be a better person as well. So, when it comes to that, and but what she's sharing too is kind of powerful as well. So, when it comes to that, so we're going to continue the video and see what we can go from here.
Today we need to take a step toward actual awakening by seeing some of the main problems inherent within the woke society that we're experiencing today. One, the most important thing to understand about the wokeism of today is that it is gaslighting on a mass scale. This gaslighting will corrode the well-being of every single member of society. On top of this, we must never forget that gaslighting sucks people into illusion, and thus further away from the real solutions to the very real problems, such as the social justice issues, that we as a society are facing. Two, it is a movement within society that demands conformity, and that not only fuels, but that supports inauthenticity and dishonesty.
Well, just when it lists for her to say that, I kind of get what she's saying, but when it comes to with my own experience with being in the spiritual and the wellness communities per se, especially talking about certain topics with politics and spiritual practices and tools and modalities and everything that's related to it, it's just like it really depends on the person who is just coming from a healthy place, and it's just like I get what she's saying and she's right to a point, but it's kind of like, there are some people who are just really practicing true honesty and raw honesty too when it comes to that as well. I'm not sure if, who it is per se. Hopefully, I'm doing my best to do that on my part with my platforms that I have on YouTube. So when it comes to people just let themselves express their truth and just really, just keeping it real too with all that as well. And it's just like there are some content creators who are, kind of like say like they want to call them woke. I mean, that's cool if that's you want to call them that too. That's cool. I'm not gonna judge you on that, but it's kind of like there are some content creators who are do keep it real, keep it a buck, and even if they don't like what they're saying, they're the person who's making the content is coming from an honest place of sincerity and honesty. So there are some people out there too, but I kind of get what she's saying here too. So what I'm saying is too is I kind of agree with her, then I kind of disagree with her. So I'm in the middle. But anyways, let's get back into the video.
It calls for pretense. Make no mistake, the woke movement within society today is one of zero tolerance. Even when it is forcing tolerance on the collective, it is doing so from a place of intolerance. And like all other dogmatic ideologies, it is rigid. It is black and white. It will not give room to anything that does not comply. As a result, it is just another movement trying to force compliance.
Hmm. You know, just like, because I listened to this video over and over again. I mean, to say over and over, but it's kind of like the third time I watched this video and just really, listen to her. I kind of get what she's saying because it's like, like like you have friends who like talk, who are just really into certain like ideologies and practices too, and they just like they like to just want to share it with everyone too. That's really cool. But if it kind of gets to a point where they're kind of like forcing people to believe it too, that's kind of like could be problematic because that kind of takes away the free will when it comes to a person who wants to make their own decision. So it's kind of like with that too, because I've been in that place before where certain people trying to make me convinced of something, and just like, oh, this is wrong. And, you shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't be doing that. Even though what I was doing was just really, healthy, and just really helping me in my own spiritual practice. So it's kind of like, like, say, for example, like, someone wants to, or is new to yoga, and it's just like, or someone is talking about yoga per se, and how the practice of that too can really help, enrich your lifestyle, and they shared all the wonderful benefits about it, and they just share with their friends and all that stuff too. But then there's someone who's just like they're listening to it and they think it's cool, but they just like there's just like, oh, that's cool that you do that with yourself too, but and it's kind of like like the other people wants to convince him to just try it out just like once, and it's just like the person who's getting that response, and it's just like maybe that's cool just doing yoga, but it's not like ready for me right now too. But then the other person kind of tries to convince him to do that. It's kind of like kind of productive, don't you think? Just because you're forcing them to do something that they're not ready to do. And I don't want to do that to my friends who are just on a different path too. If I'm just say, hey, if you ever like, hey, you should try doing yoga. It could really help you with your health. And someone says no, and I still continue to pressure them to do it. And that kind of looks bad on my part just because I'm forcing someone to do something that they're not ready to do. It's just they got to make their own decision to do it, basically. So I kind of get what Teal is saying too when it comes to forcing compliance. You do this or else you're ostracized, and that's not right. Just really kicking out people just because they don't want to do something that you don't want them to do. So I don't know. I just that's my feelings of it too. So I'm gonna try to play the whole video without pausing it because this is really interesting. Just breaking it down too with this reaction video. Mm.
Let's be honest, man is a social creature. When people are put under social pressure to comply and
Yeah.
conform, they do so in order to avoid pain and gain rewards. But in doing so, they deny, suppress, and disown what is real. They slip into pretense. They become inauthentic and they become dishonest. And nothing can be done to actually change what is real when what is real is being hidden. For example, if a society decides that racism is out and the new fad is support for a specific discriminated race, many companies will jump on board with that trend, and you will see people of that race dominating their marketing campaigns. But that does not mean that the people who run these companies actually agree with the new ideology. The people who run these companies could be racist as hell,
Mm.
but they are disguising themselves as a socially conscious company. Why? So as to not be canceled, so as to win public support. Or, for example, if a society decides that the right thing to do is to participate in a public health regime and has decided to paint those who don't as a public enemy, those people who don't are then marginalized or attacked if they don't omit their opinion or even lie. The dogmatic demand for conformity to what the majority has decided is right kills the ability within people to admit to and express anything that does not conform to that ideal. It kills what is real and what is true. People in society don't actually have to change. They don't actually have to be awakened or informed. They just have to say the right thing and advocate for specific things in public, and demonstrate a sense of solidarity against the current out groups in order to be considered part of the newest in group. You guys, this is classic, unconscious human social behavior at its finest. Many people are celebrating the current woke trends as if they are a sign that society is changing and is finally headed in the right direction. But it is not true change if people are doing it to fit in with the in group, or to avoid conflict, or to gain social support, or to feed their own ego. 3. Today's rigid woke culture is ushering in an era of cancel culture and an end to the freedom of speech. When something is canceled, it is ended, it is nullified, it is eradicated. And today's wokeist culture is looking to cancel anything that does not align with its own very rigid ideology. This includes silencing voices and blocking information that opposes its own. To learn more about cancel culture, you can watch my video titled Cancel Culture, What is Cancel Culture, and What to Do About it. 4. The woke culture of today is just another flavor of right versus wrong, good versus bad, black versus white thinking. This is a direct contradiction to actual wokeness, because awakening causes your mind to open.
That is true. What she said there is spot on. Because, when you're awakening, when you have those aha moments in your life, whether you just learn something like, new in your mind, especially in your life also, it's like, like, whoa, like, holy shit. Like, kind of like right now, too. It's like when your eyes bug and when you're kind of like, oh shit, those are some true facts right there. Or it's just like, damn, it's like that's some real shit, so it's kind of like those are like, like yourself being awakened per se too. And just like for people, and I encourage this too from my followers, and especially people who are new to my channel or new to this video too, because I'm stuttering all over the fucking place, but excuse my language. But it's kind of like, when you have those aha moments in your life, whether you're just meditating or if you're just, doing anything too that just helps you to, to help you evolve as a person. And that's like kind of like your own version of awakening too. And how it looks for you too is totally yours alone. So I can't tell you how you should just be awakened. You just got to really discover that for yourself and just really doing that in your own way too. So it's kind of like, for example, because, like I know a lot of people in the spiritual and wellness communities, and no shade against them too. So making this disclaimer as well. So when it comes to that as well, talking about that too. And I just loved everyone that I've collabed with and worked with, on different projects and so on and so forth. It's just like, just like the human experience alone too, and just really going on our own journey, just really, you know, learning about ourselves, whether we are just, if we're an artist, if we're a gamer, if we're, a gym fanatic, fitness fanatic, a yoga instructor, yoga, practitioner, um, tarot practitioner, oracle card practitioner, essential oil lover. I'm just going in all these terms too when it comes to the, honestly, like the spiritual and wellness topics too, but like the woke culture too. And just like, when it comes to the political stuff too, and if what she's talking about, I understand where she's coming from, because, that's another topic that I'm not really, good at to talk about, because I'm always in the middle. I always think about humanity, and especially our planet too, because, like, I just want to see beautiful trees growing, people are being healthy, our animals being taken care of and thriving. Just really having that healthy connection with our planet too, taking care of it the best way that we can, and working together as a community to really just do that. So when it comes to that also, and I'm totally against racism, you know, I'm totally against ignorance in many forms of racism, sexism. I'm totally against that shit. I mean, I'm no supporter of that shit as well. And it's just like, like if I get to a point, if I said something stupid towards, a person of another race, or just like, even with the other opposite gender too, I want you guys to really call me out on it. And just because, like, I want to hold myself accountable to where if I make mistakes, people can, my audience especially can hold me accountable to where it's like, hey, Jade, what you did is not right, and just really taking note of that. And I'll be totally thankful for people who are doing that, just because it's like they're thinking about not only my best well-being, but just like for um oh my gosh, how can I say this, just for overall too, just when it comes to practicing healthy behavior, healthy habits per se too. Just like I want to lead by a healthy example per se too. And just like like I have no problem calling out the ignorance too from certain behaviors that I see too when it comes to other people. I'm not saying I have nothing anything against them, but it's kind of like I am totally against racism, sexism, and I believe that we are unique people, whether you're a man, if you're a woman, especially if you're black, if you're white. I mean, shit, I'm black and I'm proud of who I am and where I'm coming from, despite me stuttering in this video, even though I had in my mind who I was going to talk about. But it's kind of going smoothly so far. So it's kind of like finding your own voice, per se, and just really doing that in a very powerful way, just to just really let yourself become awake, like find your own awakening too. And I might make a separate video about this too, later on this week too, just when it comes to not only about this video, but just like with the wokeism in general too. So when it comes to that, I'm going to continue the video. But what Steel Swan is sharing too about how awakening can cause your mind to open, but also it can cause your heart to open too, to where you can just really emphasize and just really understanding what other people are going through. And it's just like, awakening can also open your mind, but also your heart too. So I'll just add that little note to it as well. But what she's sharing is spot on. So just want to continue the video.
It shows you how complex and how nuanced things really are. This includes social justice issues. Black and white thinking drags us into the inability to fully comprehend the reality of things. It causes us to draw the wrong conclusions just because they're simple. It harms our relationships. It shuts us down to learning into alternative ideas, and it limits our capacity to find the actual solutions to our problems. On top of this, the reality is that the woke culture today displays the same dichotomous thinking that underpins the very social issues such as racism or sexism or homophobia that it professes to be against. 5. Today's woke society trend gives the unhealthy ego a place to absolutely thrive. Because society sees wokeism as good and right, your ego doesn't have to do anything other than virtue signal now. So many people are saying what they are saying and are doing what they are doing, not because of a genuine understanding of what they are saying and doing, not actually because of genuine concern or actual personal truth. They are saying what they are saying and doing what they are doing so as to feed their own ego and win the social approval of others. A person can feel like they are such a good person by putting a performatively woke sign in their front lawn. They can feel superior by using the right pronouns when referring to someone else. They can feel self-satisfied by posting a meme about cultural appropriation. They can feel righteous by publicly championing the latest public health regime. Because of this, our actual subscription to the wokeness is actually skin deep. This is clearly seen in the fact that our everyday behaviors definitely do not match the concern for social issues that we show online. In fact, our daily behaviors often directly contradict the performance that we put on for the public. 6. Today's woke culture is a byproduct of very wounded individuals who are bitter as a result of having experienced unfairness, and whom, as a result, have essentially weaponized their resentment. Because of the unfairness that they have experienced, they blame other people, usually a specific outgroup, for their disempowerment and hurt. And thus, they justify any action they take against a person who they think belongs to that group. And in the same vein, when they make other people, especially those in those outgroups, responsible for the unfairness, They then try to manipulate them into making amends. None of this is actual healing, and none of this is actual empowerment. 7. The wokeist culture is keeping the social deadlock triangle of the victim, the villain, and the hero alive and well. The very foundation of today's woke culture is victimhood. There are perks to victimhood. This is scary because when there are perks this big, as we're seeing right now, to being a victim, everyone wants to be a victim. So what do? They invent crimes so as to be seen by others as a victim. This is an injustice to actual victims and invites false accusations. On top of
Yeah, that's a good point there too, because I've been falsely accused of something that I haven't done too, and it's just like you like to give people the benefit of the doubt, and it's probably I might talk about this in another topic too, especially specifically for men too who've dealt with this too, and women also, but especially especially from coming from a place from a male's perspective too, being falsely accused is the worst feeling ever. It's kind of like you feel like shit basically, because like with me, I do my best just to honor people, honor their space, their time, their boundaries especially, and to really just being falsely accused, and even without having to get a good reason or just getting evidence on it too. It really does suck, even if nothing against the person who accused you, and you just want to mind your own business and leave them alone. It's just like it that kind of trauma, like that hurt, that kind of pain just really sits with you too, especially as a man too. It really sucks. And it's just like I just want to share to anyone who's been falsely accused, my heart goes out to you, whether you're a man or a woman too, because like I understand things happen in life. Life is too damn crazy as it is, but just being falsely accused, even though you did nothing wrong, deep down you know that too, and especially the evidence shows that you done nothing wrong, and you still be falsely accused, and even just being canceled from that also, it's the suckiest feeling ever too. So I just want to mention that, and especially being a American with African and Native American descent too, and it's just like, oh, my face is scrunching. Um, just it really sucks to be in that place too, and it's just like sometimes you can't help it from getting pissed off from that situation. It's like, damn, did that shit really just happen to me? It's like it makes you think, but it's kind of like you have to sit with yourself. It's just wondering like, how can I just to learn from this and just really to heal from that, let it all go and move on from it too, because it's kind of like now that you know about it, you've been in that kind of experience before, but it's kind of like that pain, like how can you just learn to learn from that and just really let that go in a powerful way. That could be really hard to explain too, so that might be another topic. And sorry for shouting too, I'm just trying to let my voice be heard too, but I just want to mention, I might talk about this in another topic. So yeah, that was a good point there too.
this, in a virtue signaling society, everyone wants to be a hero, and a hero needs both a clear victim and a clear bad guy in order to exist. People looking to be public heroes seek glory and adulation. They invent villains, regardless of whether that villain actually exists, so that they can portray themselves as heroes. Essentially, woke culture has given people who lack bravery in every sense and who want to be heroes the opportunity to invent causes of victimhood so that they can then tell the world that they are the hero for eradicating the threat. This mentality keeps humanity disempowered. It creates scapegoats and also false villains, and it destroys the credibility of actual victims. 8. There are many dysfunctional psychological and social patterns that today's woke culture promotes and advocates for that so many of us in the spiritual, psychology, and self-development field are trying our hardest to undo. For example, it promotes the idea that feelings represent reality, and that you don't have to really deeply look into something because you just know it, or you just feel it. When what is true is that while feelings are always a carrier of personal information and are always important, they don't necessarily always reflect reality. And you absolutely do have to look deeply into things and question them if you are interested in what is true. Or, for example, it promotes the idea that we are either the oppressor or we are the oppressed, and we are defined by that group that we are born into. When what awakening looks like is ceasing to see the world in this black and white way. Awakening is to see ourselves in everything and everyone, and to decide that our own thoughts and actions are what define us personally.
That's true facts right there. What you said is spot on. Yeah, definitely.
Let's think of another one. Okay, or for example, it promotes the idea that if your ancestors or members of the tribe that you were born into did something horrible, it is your offense. It's our offense whether we personally participated or not, and thus we are responsible for what they did. When developing psychologically is to see that you are not guilty for or responsible for what your parents or grandparents did. You could not change what happened. All you can do is to make an autonomous decision for your own conduct here and now. You get my point, right? There are so many ways that this woke movement is a direct antagonist to spiritual development, to awakening, to psychological, emotional, and physical health, and to self-development. Therefore, this current woke culture is not a forward step, as many would like to think it is.
Well, I'll just say this, and I kind of get what Teal's saying here too. And I'm kind of in the middle of this too, just because I'm a person that likes to look at the both sides and just really come to my own conclusion. And it's just like with wokeism, in that term, when saying that too, it kind of it's like, should I say it or should I not? But it's kind of like when it comes to that too, and saying that word or two, and it's just like well, being woke or awakening per se, however you identify it too, that's totally up to you guys too, and no judgment on my part. I just feel like, like what she's saying earlier about how we can just really find that awakening within ourselves in our own way when it comes to our own journey with life. I'm totally a believer in that too, especially if we're not in the spiritual or the wellness communities also. We all got to go through our own path, whether we we don't understand other people what our other people are doing or not too, but it's kind of like when it comes to that too, I kind of get what Teal's saying, but at the same time, it's like maybe someone likes to sing woke or awakening. I mean, that's totally your guys' term too. So I mean, shoot, I understand what she's saying here too, because even with me saying being woke, it's like, huh? It's like it's kind of like like I get like, huh? It's, like that meme. It's like oh no, not it's not a meme. It's kind of like something from a video game, Grand Theft Auto 5. It's Franklin Clinton. It's like, huh? What? So it's kind of like, it's like you turn your head sideways. It's like, whoa, like the fuck? What's that mean? Some people might wonder like what the fuck woke means. And I was like, yeah, I get it. But it's kind of like, being awakened, just really, kind of having those aha moments too. So I get it if people don't like the word woke. I totally understand that. But if people do, that's cool too. So I'm in the I'm in the middle. If you guys disagree with that too, you're more than welcome to comment. So let's continue with this long video. Here we go.
9. Today's wokeism shuts down intelligent conversation and thus thwarts the progress of our entire species. Many would have you believe that the woke culture is a liberal ideology. It is not. This is yet another gaslight. What defines liberalism is the willingness to respect or accept behaviors that differ from one's own, and most especially the openness to new ideas.
Yeah, that's true. And it's just like, unfortunately, I've been to certain situations where it's just like I shared my, own kind of, beliefs and, values too with other people. And it kind of felt a certain way about it too. And it's just like, when it comes to just, being like being open to new ideas from other people, especially people who are on a different path from I am. I'm totally a believer in that too. But there's like sometimes there's like certain situations where people they say they're one way, but they act totally different when you share your thoughts and your feelings too about certain topics too. It could be from politics to from certain pop culture, topics too with video games and movies and all kind of stuff too. So like Teal has a point there too, but when it comes to with liberalism, because I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole just yet. That's another topic too for another day. But if you guys want to talk about it in the comment section, you're more than welcome to do so. Just really, just sharing your healthy thoughts and feelings about what she's sharing too. So even if you disagree or agree with her, also that's totally fine too. Feel free to comment at any time. So yeah, let's finish this up.
Alas,
I'll let
this
her
is
speak.
not what we see. In this woke culture, when someone expresses disagreement around social issues, potentially like I'm doing right now, it means that person is seen as either ignorant or bad.
Yeah, it's true too. And it's just like, it's just unfortunate that people get labeled for being kind of bad or ignorant for having a different belief from other people. Because sometimes maybe like someone is coming from a healthy place, it's kind of like, hey, I kind of disagree with what you said here too about this kind of topic. It could be from yoga, it could be from any kind of topic, and then you get labeled as being an asshole or being a jerk. It's kind of like messed up per se too, because I'm with me, and I'm just giving myself as an example. It's like I like to hear what other people share too, and if I don't like something that someone doesn't agree to, I'm not gonna shame them. I'll just let them be. So it's kind of like coming from that healthy place and really just coming from that healthy space to just listen and to really just listen and really just share my own thoughts and disagreements too to what people are sharing and sharing with me and talking about certain things too. I'm not going to shame them for just having a different opinion of me too. I'm just going to let them be, just let them be in their own way too. And if they agree, that's cool. If they don't, that's cool too. But if it gets to a point where we start like to say, tear each other down and just call each other names and trying to cancel each other, I mean, I'm totally against that because that could lead to a whole lot of problems. Could lead to a fight. It could lead to all kind of crazy shit. So yeah, I totally get what Teal is saying there too.
And instead of being open to their ideas, this culture shuts them down. The idea that maybe there's value inherent in the other person's perspective does not exist. They've already made up their mind, and anyone who has a different opinion is wrong. Also, shutting down or publicly destroying someone who doesn't see how wrong they are is now seen as virtuous.
Hmm.
Also, it's now not okay to offend anyone by expressing an opinion that others might dislike.
Hmm.
This new culture is quite literally killing new thought and is also killing the conversation. People are showing an absolute unwillingness to test their assumptions. You guys, this is scary. Without viewpoint diversity, there would never be any progress within the consciousness of mankind.
Hmm.
I could write an entire book on the problem with the woke culture that we are seeing today and on
Well,
just
I
how
bet you
not
could.
woke it is.
It's your beautiful
But
self.
what I want to leave you with is this. There is nothing woke about a person who cannot see the dangers inherent in wokeness itself.
I'm gonna stop right there. I don't want to play the music again too. Just out of respect for Teal too. So I just want to share too when it comes to this video. And if you guys have any thoughts that you want to share with this video, and feel free to comment below too. I'll actually and definitely I'll link the original video of Teal Swan about wokeism in the description of this video too. So whether you're watching this on YouTube, much love to all you guys who are new to my channel, and for those who are, subscribed to me since day one. Also, I love you guys dearly for who you are as human beings. Whether you're straight, if you're gay, if you're black, if you're white, if you're, you know, however you identify yourself too. I just have nothing but, love for you guys too, in a very healthy way too. No homo. pause. So, especially the fellas who are watching this, but the ladies, I appreciate you guys too for the real, the beautiful real ladies who practice healthy habits in their own way too. I have nothing but love for you guys too, and it's just respectfully too. I just appreciate all you guys too who are watching this video, and especially for those who are new to my channel as well. And again, if you ever want to reach out to me, if you guys have any questions, or if you guys want me to react to certain videos that you want me to watch and share my own thoughts, also feel free to send me an email too in the description below too. So if you want to send me your questions, or if you want to collab with me on my channel too, or on your channel, feel free to check out the Google Forms below too at any time as well. So, and also I'll link the video again to Teal Swan's original video in the description below too. And big shout out to Teal Swan also. And how, despite how you guys feel about her, and that's totally right on your part, I think she's gorgeous and she shares a lot of knowledge too. So I think she's awesome. She's gorgeous inside and out. And hell, because I'm a man, I'm a straight man. And I love women, but they're black. It's my complexion, darker, lighter, and especially when it comes to all women too. All women, especially when it comes to me being a straight man and all. I'm just gonna keep it above. I am totally a sucker for a beautiful woman inside and out. How she takes care of herself, how she treats people, especially how she treats herself mostly too. That's like I'll melt like fucking chocolate vegan ice cream or like a raw cacao ice cream too. So when it comes to that as well, I think I'll end this video right there. Much love to all you guys who are watching this too. I might make a part 2 about this too, about this topic as well. So feel free to be on the lookout for another video with the same topic as well. I'm just going to share my own conclusions when it comes to just with wokeism too. So especially from a male's perspective too, a male like American male's perspective with African and Native American ancestry too. So when it comes to that, much love to all you guys who are watching this video, and may we continue to practice self-care that could benefit us, our loved ones, and our environment. So peace and much love. Namaste.